global happenings today. We communicate, we analyze global news. Stay tuned.
Hello, beautiful people. Welcome to Global Happenings Today YouTube channel. An APC chieftain, a strong one at that, have decided to bear it all and say the way it is. And he has agreed that Peter Obi's movement is organic, it's natural, it is not organized. But then he's also signing a note of warning to the youth on how to channel their energies and their anger properly, because the way they're going about it, they may not or will not win. He outlined the processes, of course. We're going to look into that very quickly as well. Then, in another news, quite an interesting one as well, an apostle, a prominent one at that, have decided to tackle Deji Adeyanju on spiritual terms, and the fact that he has been going against Peter Obi at all force, in fact, in all arsenals. We're going to join this into one very quickly, quite an interesting one. But before we do that, kindly subscribe to our channel by clicking on the red subscribe button. Beside it, you see a bell notification icon. Please go ahead, click on it to get notified as soon as you update our channel on YouTube. Okay, let's start with what APC Chieftain Alake has got to tell obedient youth across Nigeria. With barely 6 months left to the 2023 general elections, an all progressive Congress APC chieftain Deji Alake has come out to explain the secret behind the rising popularity of the Labour Party presidential flag bearer Peter Obi on social media. Speaking during an interview, Alake, who is the director of communications on the Tinubu-Shettima presidential campaign organization, stated that the youth in the country have decided to channel their anger and frustration through Peter Obi's candidacy using social media as a medium. However, Alake pointed out that social media will not determine the outcome of the presidential elections in 2023 and subsequent ones after that. I cannot sit down here and deny the fact that there is, I'm quoting him now, he said, I cannot sit down here and deny the fact that there is an amount of groundswell of frustration among the youth and a cross-section of the populace, which is actually the driving force behind what you term as the popularity of Peter Obi on social media. I can tell you that it is natural. The aggravation of all those pent-up anger is being channeled towards Peter Obi on social media. However, social media is not going to determine the 2023 elections. It has never determined any election in Nigeria, Alake said. Then, of course, an apostle, we're going to look at that later, but an apostle have decided to tackle Deji Adeyanju over his incessant move against Peter Obi, regardless of what Peter Obi does, good, bad, or even evil, even though I've never seen any bad thing Peter Obi have really done. He has always been having good endorsement, especially from his past. Well, according to the news, a Nigerian apostle, Anselm Madubiko, has slammed human rights activist Deji Adeyanju for continuously postulating that presidential candidate of Labour Party, Peter Obi, will come third in 2023 presidential election. This comes after Deji, via his Twitter page on Friday, said he had information that former President Olusegun Obasanjo is supporting Peter Obi to become the next Nigerian president in 2023. However, Adeyanju noted Obi would come a distant third in the presidential election. According to him, Obasanjo has been the one calling people across the world to support Obi in this election. He said the Balogun Owu had been soliciting funds for Obi's presidential campaign, which will kick off next week, according to the calendar of the INEC National Electoral Commission, INEC. He further went on to insist that Obi would not win the election despite Obasanjo's support. In reaction to the post, Apostle Anselm took to his social media page to give it out to Sheyi, saying, Deji, Obi will bring you down before 2023. You hate him with passion, but you are going down as well. Wow, this is quite strong coming from a man of God. You know, it's campaigning period. Everyone seems to be speaking for their candidate, but for Deji Adeyanju has really been coming on really strong against Peter Obi. A lot of people are wondering why that is so, judging the fact that Peter Obi has really been a nice guy, if you want to look at it very critically. And he has really he has not missed his foot. He has been very organic in his ways, very prudent in his words, and he has been very sane and calm, very professional in his campaign. In fact, his kind of campaign came in with a breath of fresh air, where they don't do what we call personal attacks. They don't do media attack against the personality of the aspirant. In fact, he even went as far as telling his supporters to please not to insult any aspirant of any kind. He's coming in a professional angle. We've never really seen it in this kind. Those days, in the days of when election was election, or when campaigning was campaigning, you keep seeing dirty talks coming on social media, where this one bring out the dirty secret things that was done in the time past against the other one, most longing and all that. Sometimes you see them begin to talk about their past antecedents of calumny. They talk about their past antecedents of fraud, corruption, but Peter Obi has really kept it clean. Regardless of those who have health issues, he have not called anyone out. Really, he will just tell Nigerians the business of the day. If you must get this right, vote for competence. He's not talking about ethnicity. He never mentioned ethnicity. He never mentioned religion. He never mentioned Emilio Khan. All right, they didn't have to say it is my turn, and they didn't even decide to mention anything on that ground. Say, look, this is supposed to be an election and it should be done properly. But, they've always been ethnicity twist to it. He has been very clean, really. But it looks as if because for a long while, Nigeria have been used to that kind of politics of ethnicity, of divide and rule, politics of monetary inducement, policy of, money for hand, back for ground. Those kind of, it's still new. This is the very first time also that our politicians will not do their campaign by buying agbado, that's buying corn, roasted corn on the streets, and begin to chew with maybe pear or coconut, and the common masses will see them and begin to hail them. Typical example of the likes of Adams Oshomole in the days of his comradeship, the likes of former Imo State Governor, and that's Roger Sokorocha. Then when he was campaigning, you see him along keke riders, you see him along the taxi drivers, bike drivers, and all bike riders. It was a common thing. That was their way of campaigning. But Peter Obi brought it differently. I don't need to stay with the common with keke riders to prove that I'm with them or I'm for them. I will tell you what I intend to do, and that's what Nigerians want. We also hope that there will be a time where they will have what we call a electoral presidential debate. And if it is presidential debate, please, we want, since it's going to be the president, there will be marshalling out information, dishing out instruction, and commendation. I think going forward during that campaign, it should be the presidential candidate that should come out during that campaign and debate. But the question is, would it even hold? Well, that's going to wrap it up. Let's meet in our comment section.